My name is Jaclyn Kendall, and this is my story. So I grew up attending the Sunnyside United Methodist Church, and my brother and I both were baptized and confirmed when we were 13 and 12, and that was our choice to do that. And when we became teenagers, we hit that rebellious phase and just decided that we didn't want to be a part of organized religion. We didn't like the hypocrisy. We just didn't think it was for us. And my brother then went to college and lived with 3 Christian roommates. And I remember the day he called me and said, I became a Christian. And I said to him, you live your life in a more Christian way than anybody I know, so I don't think you need to go around telling people that. And he said to me, well, I devoted my life to Christ, so I am going to tell people that. and I thought, good for him, but nothing there for me. The total disregard for God, Jesus, the Bible, the church, is maybe one of the only things that Travis and I had in common for the first 3 years of our marriage. And on the way home from Disneyland, November of 2012, my brother and Travis got to talking about my brother's faith. And that's when my husband came home and said, I think we should go to a church. Do you know when we could go to? So I Facebook messaged Candy Marchant, who I knew from Mott's, and asked what time church started. And we came in December and then maybe once or twice in January. And during those first couple of times we came to church, that's when we heard that the church was doing a program called The Art of Marriage in February. So Travis and I came to The Art of Marriage on that Friday, and our agreement was that we were going to take the marriage lessons that we could get out of that program and leave the Jesus stuff aside. That just wasn't for us. Great for the people who do that, and not so much for us. And again, one of the only things that we agreed on at that point. I mean, Travis and I had nearly divorced. We both talked to divorce attorneys. We've been separated for a while. We lived apart for almost a year before we had Logan. We just could barely get along, and we were pretty much together because we had children. So that Friday we came in ready to hear some tips. I mean, we'd already tried a lot of things. We'd already tried every marriage counseling program we could think of. And this is only $40, so we thought we could give it a whirl. We really liked what we heard that Friday night. We thought it was great. But we came home and we were totally wiped from our days. And he'd been at work all day, and I think I was home with the kids, and we didn't do our homework. And so on the way back to the church Saturday morning, I was trying to write down Travis's homework, and he wasn't really answering the questions. And then he committed the cardinal marriage sin of not taking the route that I take to church. And I said, stop, why are you taking this exit? Take the next one, it's faster. And he lost it. And I just remember sitting there thinking, I don't even like this man that I'm sitting next to. I'm not attracted to him. I don't like anything about him. He treats me like garbage. I just have to figure out how I can make it through the next 17 years, and then I can get my life back. So we got to the church and we sat down, and I put our stuff in between us. And we couldn't even look at each other. We were both just fuming and, oh, hi, Candy and Dan, so nice to see you. Oh. But we just listened. We sat and we listened. And as we journaled and we wrote, our hearts really started to soften. Not just toward each other, but toward the whole idea that there was a huge problem with our marriage, and it wasn't anything that we had ever thought. What I think of when I think about our marriage, it was like a broken femur, and we were trying to treat it with Band-Aids and Neosporin. We were totally doomed for divorce, and by the end of The Art of Marriage, Travis took my hand and he said, we need God in our marriage, in our home, in our lives. And I had written down the exact same thing in my journal. And I just couldn't believe that we were on the same page. We both wanted the exact same thing. So he prayed for us, which is something that he had never done. I didn't think he could. I don't trust him to lead our family. That was a really clear indication that my husband was very equipped to lead our family spiritually, lead our family financially, lead our family emotionally, the whole deal. So we left the Art of Marriage with our lives changed. But what was so cool was that they talked about a weekend getaway that would be in Pasco the weekend after my husband was leaving for Navy boot camp. And we thought, we can't go because he won't be here. And then Travis underlined in the brochure, there was one in Bellevue the weekend before he was leaving, and then he put a little star next to it, and it was geared toward military families. And we thought, oh cool, okay, we'll budget that into our tax return and we'll make that happen. But on Monday, I woke up in a good mood for the first time in a really long time. And Travis asked me what was going on. Why are you so happy this morning? And I said, do you feel that? Do you feel that weight that is gone from our lives? And I said, yeah, I do. I feel really good. Around lunchtime, Travis called me and he said, you are never going to believe this. I just got my bonus from last year and it's double what we thought it was going to be. And it was more than enough for us to book our weekend getaway right then and there. And I just remember, I looked up and I said, okay, God, I know that we're new to this, but we're also really good hint takers. So you don't have to make things quite as obvious down the road. But thank you for that. Thank you for, and I know that was it. I mean, anytime that you really need something, he will provide it. And I'm just so glad that Travis and I finally realized that, so we could give credit where credit is due, and gosh, just give the honor and glory back to God. So we went to the weekend getaway the weekend before he left, and it's the best weekend my husband and I have ever had together. Not a single fight. We just loved on each other. We celebrated each other. We're very different people, and one of the things we took away from the Art of Marriage was how we're like sandpaper, rubbing off each other's rough edges. And it was amazing to me when Travis left and he was at boot camp. Art of Marriage was in February and he was there in April, and he had young sailors coming to him saying, Kendall, how's your marriage so good? How are you and your wife doing so awesome in this separation? And Travis would say to them, come with me on Sunday and I'll show you.